Hello, Brett from brettfoster.net with yet another editing video. We've had one of the biggest storms in history in Wellington in the last day or two. Yesterday, one of the biggest days ever, and it's made for some interesting landscape action over the last day or so. Today I went out and went to Oriental Parade in Wellington, which is one of my favourite spots for people watching, photography, bike riding, skateboarding, pretty much a lot of things. Took my cameras, and this is the results. This is shot with my Panasonic GF2 and my 17mm Pancake lens from Olympus, and yeah, let's just jump into it. So I took a number of images. The reason that I like this one and the reason I took this one is I love this big dark reflection. Can you have a dark reflection? Yes, you can. Big dark reflection in the harbour. So as I've said before, my version of Lightroom won't open the raw files from the GF2 natively, so I have to do these in Camera Raw, which I'm okay with anyway, because there's no colour fringing, or very little colour fringing on this image. I've actually opened it up to have a look at it already. So I'm going to do my normal landscape adjustments, which are highlights all the way down, shadows all the way up, whites, hold the Alt key and that gives you a black screen, and then shows you your whites. So as little whites as possible. I do like having some whites in my images. Blacks, yep. Now I'm going to adjust the white balance. I noticed something weird going on here, which has probably got to do with the fact that I bumped the shadows so high. Yeah, that's a bit better, a bit more to my taste. So to zoom in and out, zoom is by default, so just click, zoom in, zoom out, hold the Alt key, zoom in. I'm going to check the white balance, auto, daylight, cloudy. So I like daylight and cloudy better than auto. Yep, I like cloudy. And luminance, I am going to bump the luminance quite a lot, make it a bit smoother. To move around the image when you're zoomed in, hold the space bar and then you can move around. Cool, but now I need to sharpen that back up. So Serge Ramelli, who I've watched a lot of his videos and sort of learned a lot about editing through his videos, says in Lightroom and anyway, but it works about the same, I believe, about 100 between the two is good. So if you have to have, say, 50 luminance, then you have about 50 sharpening. Weird little rule, but it seems to work. Now one thing you do want to do is you don't want to sharpen the clouds or the sky, so you hold down the Alt key, go to masking, and where it's black it will not be sharpened. Cool. So I know my horizon line is slightly crooked. And I will fix that in Photoshop. So I'm really liking that. The cloud was like it was hovering over the city. This is Wellington City. The actual major part of the CBD is over this way a bit. But this cloud was amazing. So yeah, I took it. I think that's all I want to do in Camera Raw. Yeah, it doesn't have profile for the camera lens either. I believe they are available, but I haven't bothered with that as yet, because I'm not sure I'm going to be keeping this body, to be honest. I like that it has a pop-up flash, and touchscreen is nice, but doesn't have image stabilization, and I do a lot of monopod assisted nighttime photography of a specific genre, and when I remember to switch it out and take my EPL3, the images are a lot sharper. But then if I need to use a flash, then the EPL3 doesn't have a flash, or it does, but it has one of those ugly bolt-on ones. But anyway, open image in Photoshop. So yeah, I've got my eye on a EP2, which is very affordable nowadays. 3-axis image stabilization, pop-up flash, which a lot of even the newer EPs and EPLs don't have, and the nice Olympus image stabilization. Plus, it will use all the batteries that I have for my EPL 3 and my EP1. So, just to give you guys a look, this is 100%. So the detail on the hill is mushy as there is none. But it's never going to be seen at 100% anyway. And even if it is, it's pretty acceptable. There's some detail there. I mean, there's no detail there, but there's recognizable forms, and it kind of looks okay. So, Control J to copy the image, pull down my ruler to get the straight horizon line, Control T to go free transform, and is that too much? Let's see. I might have gone like a fraction of a degree too far on that, but to my eye, that's pretty well straight. Cool. So another reason I went Control J, I don't think I'm even going to have to crop the edges on that. No, that's fine there. What about the top? No. Oh, I'll have to on that side. Okay, so because I want to keep the native ratio, original ratio, I will simply do that. This other corner is where it should show as well, but you can see it a tiny bit there. But I'm not going to worry about that. Keep as much detail as possible. Now, then I've created another layer, partly, or a copy of that base layer, partly because I want to try Nik Effects tone mapping, which is HDR, fake HDR. And unlike other Nik Effects, I just made a mistake. So because I straightened that layer, I should have actually made a copy of that layer, which I'm just going to do. So actually let me see if this is even worth doing. I won't save it because bring down the blacks. It's cool, but this is ugly. No, I'm not going to do that because I don't like what it did in the dark areas. Let me try something. Control J. So I've copied that layer again now. I'm going to go. That was the wrong one. I'm going to click on the correct one, tone mapping. Man, my stomach's grumbling heaps. I hope you guys can't hear that. No. I don't think this is going to work, and obviously I'm going to have to do some work with cropping up there, but I just want to try this one thing, so bear with me. Before I learnt about how to do HDR and all that sort of thing, I used to have this process, and I didn't know what I was doing, but what I was actually doing was really just creating my own HDR images. Layer by copy, yes please. And I don't know if you saw what I did there, but I copied the top half of this and then added it to the existing bottom half. And you definitely need some extra work, but I really like parts of that. So I'm going to leave that for now. I'm going to try go back to Nick Collection. Go to my old trusty favourite Analog Effects Pro, FX Pro I should say. So these are all presets that I've made recently. That's cool. Quite cold, but I kind of like it. It's weird how it's making this one patch here super yellow. A lot of them are doing that. So that's, I really like that. With or without the vignette, what would you guys do? Leave me a comment. That's the question of the video, with or without the vignette on this particular Nick Effects filter. In your opinion. No, without. I like with and moving it up so there's not so much vignette around here, but then I lose this whole purpose of why I like this image, which was the awesome reflection. So I'm going without. You guys tell me what you think. Apply, please. Interestingly, that filter I made specifically for selfies. Is that terrible? Probably. So this might be a short video. You guys probably going hallelujah to that. I tend to ramble on a bit. Maybe more than a bit. So Control B to bring up the color balance, sliders. That's quite cool. Bit more blue, bit less, maybe a bit of red. No. So some people would look at this and go, oh, it's completely over processed. But to be honest, this isn't even as vibrant as this scene was in reality. So I'm Control Z-ing to see the before and afters of what I just did. And I like that a lot. It's a boy, so yeah, let's leave him. So it's on its side, so it's not a great before to compare, but that's what we started with. Windows Photo Viewer won't let me rotate it, I think because it's a raw image. And quite flat. Still beautiful detail in these clouds. I think we've still kept most of that. Yeah, if not, we might have over accentuated that a little bit, but this big cloud was very dynamic, and way more dynamic than that. The wispy clouds over the hills, or the blanket of cloud, was quite delicate and more what do you call that stuff? Candy cotton? Cotton wool? Candy floss. Yeah, candy floss we call it. I think you guys call it cotton candy. Candy floss-ish, or esque. But this is really just quite dynamic, and I'm quite pleased with that. So yeah, thank you very much. That's it. 21 minutes. It's a new record for me. Thanks for watching. Please do like if you liked it, which will be down here somewhere, and subscribe if you like what I'm doing. If you get any value of it, I'd appreciate a share too. But yeah, just thanks for your time for watching, and please leave a message with that question of the day. Thanks for your time. Later.